Hi and welcome, it's Adam from Practice Dummy Gaming. I've been playing a little bit of Exoprimal lately. I wasn't really excited about this game in the lead up. Once I got into it, I found out it's a whole lot of fun. There's a great mix of PvE and PvP content in each battleground. And I've been playing three suits mainly. I've been playing Barrage, Skywave, and Deadeye. Those are the first three I've been focusing on. I'll do some videos later on once I get into some of the other suits, but I thought these were great ones to start with. First of all, you've been seeing there, I've switched out suits at the beginning of this match. I've been trying to go in as Skywave as a healer first, and when I see that the group composition already has a healer and they seem to want to stick to it, I've been switching out to one of my DPS characters. For this run, I've taken Barrage. So Barrage is your incendiary explosives AoE damage specialist, or area of effect. Barrage can do a lot of damage, especially in the early rounds, but you will see your damage start to drop off on those larger single targets that have higher health pools. Barrage is really there for crowd control and making sure that your group isn't getting overwhelmed in phases like this when there's swarms and swarms of dinosaurs. You can see in the counter at the top there, we have to take out 1,000 of these dinosaurs, so using AoE damage is really, really effective here. Barrage's ultimate skill is very effective in this situation where the tank is starting to get overwhelmed. It turns them into a bomb. As soon as you activate it, you fly forward into the group and explode, doing lots of AoE damage and hopefully tipping the scales to the point where your team doesn't get overwhelmed by this swarm. Now, amongst all the action in Exoprimal, you have to keep in mind that this is actually a race. There is another team in a parallel dimension. You can see their silhouettes as you start to engage in some PvP when you encounter them. And as you finish objectives like that last dino call, you follow the Watcher in that white trace line to get you to the next objective. Now this one, we're working on uplink protection. The other team and swarms of dinosaurs are going to try and overwhelm you and keep you from protecting this uplink. There's 3 of them, and you're trying to build your percentage up to 100% on the top line there, as you can see. There's different variations, different locations. You kind of have to search them out. It's best to try and stick with a teammate if you can. Once you take a point, then you can split up a little bit, leave 1 or 2 at each point to try and hold them and give the other team, slow the other team down while your team comes back to regroup. As you've seen myself and this tank have done in this situation. And once we've got the uplink secured, we're going to move on and try and take other points. Now I'm about to show you here is one of the best things about Exoprimal. It's flexibility and fluidity on the go. What I've learned over my first 20 or so matches is that you don't have to stick to the suit you've got. When you look at your group comp, in this situation there was a Nimbus who's also a healer or a DPS class. I ran with him for a little bit the first mission and recognized that the Nimbus character was wanting to stick to healing, so I switched out to Deadeye. Deadeye is a great character. Reading online about Deadeye, you sort of get the impression maybe he's not the most effective for overall DPS, but in terms of just gameplay fun, so far he's one of my favorites. It's just getting your gun off, throwing sprays of assault rifle fire. You've got a grenade launcher. You can fire off your cannon rig and just get into mowing down swarms and swarms of dinosaurs. Like in this situation, we're trying to kill 2,000 dinosaurs. I have to point out that the 2 tanks that we're running with in this group are fantastic. Look how they interlock shields. I just stand behind these shields and fire at dinosaurs, having a great time. Now, continuing to lean into Deadeye here, I edited out a cutscene to try and avoid as many spoilers as possible. We are fighting this Neo T-Rex. There's a lot starts to happen in this fight. This is my first look at it. I don't know if we'll see this again based on the cutscene that occurred before this fight. However, there's a lot of really good elements that I wanted to show here. First of all, you can see that there are globs of goo showing up on the ground. You want to stay away from those. They grab you and slow you down. You also want to not grab aggro from that giant T-Rex. If you notice there, you'll see it again if you're watching closely. I had just focused fire on one of those glowing purple zones. In your typical video game type archetypes, then anything glowing like that on an enemy, generally you're going to want to fire at it, unless you find out from the game that that's a bad thing. But usually it's a good thing, and in this case that's true. You fire at the purple highlights, and you do more damage if you hit those areas. So you're trying to get your reticle on those and just fire powerful attacks at those highlighted areas as much as possible. Now, like in other games, you see an AoE coming at you at the floor. That ended up killing me just by standing in it for a couple of seconds. So obviously you have to look for strategy to get out of those things. Because this was my first look at this fight, I didn't recognize at first, but there are pillars that raise up and down out of the floor. So you're going to want to look for those and get onto those when you start to see that purple goo flowing across the floor towards you. We'll take a couple minutes to look at Skywave here. Skywave I would generally consider my main exosuit. I have a real long history of being a healer in video games going back to the World of Warcraft Burning Crusade days. This suit really scratches that healing itch. You can see I'm throwing down gravity wells and collecting enemies for my tanks and DPS to focus fire on. There's a gravity well in front there, slowing down the other team. That draws them in the center and they can't move. It also allows me to do DPS and healing to the tank at the same time when they're close enough together and get that splash effect. It's the same spell, it doesn't matter who it hits. If it hits your player, it heals. If it hits their player, it does damage. Again, doing a little bit of DPS. Throw down a gravity well to slow them down. We're just trying to stay ahead in this match. You can see at the top there, my team is closer to finishing the cube restoration. I even get into destroying their cube with the last couple of hits there and assure us the victory. So far, Exoprimal's been a great game. I'm really enjoying it. Focusing on Barrage, Deadeye, and Skywave. Keep your eyes out for more content to come.